Well, I can tell you this, I did not expect it to be this cold today. Blimey, it's not optimal conditions, and it's literally June tomorrow. The second thing I'm noticing is that the high street here appears to be full of building works. Roadworks, 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 roadworks. Literally this entire town centre is consumed with roadworks. I'm telling you, today is going to be one of those days. I've just arrived here in Northampton. I walked through the town centre and every single piece of busking real estate, pedestrian only area, is taken up by roadwork. What? Am I going to be able to set up somewhere and play? I hope so. We'll have to look down the market square. Perhaps I could set up down here. It all depends on what the roadworks are doing. But it looks like Northampton is going through a mega refurb. Ah. Well, maybe they really do think buskers are a nuisance here, to the point where they're just putting up roadworks to deter us from playing. I have no idea where I could busk. I have two options. One, I just set up amongst the roadworks and see if I'm able to play, or I have to go somewhere else. I have to go to a nearby town. First impressions are that there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to play. We have to find a way. Look, this is the market square. Dang. What are we meant to do? I'm honestly really not sure what to do here. The only thing I can think to do is just to set up amongst the roadworks. Shocking. Now then, I showed up today in Northampton thinking I would make a nice video about busking here, about where the spots are, and even go into how there is a BBC article describing buskers as a nuisance, and how that they've put a PSPO in place in order to prohibit nuisance buskers. However, upon arrival, I've been greeted with roadworks, and not just roadworks on a small scale, literally roadworks on every single piece of busking real estate. There is no pedestrian only zone that has not got roadworks on currently here in Northampton. Which begs the question, what do you do in this situation? Hopefully I can find that out for you today. As Tom Petty said, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. Alright, so when you arrive somewhere and you're greeted with something that could potentially hinder your busk, first step is to not panic. Don't freak out. If you make a rash decision and just go home, that could be a day wasted. There will always be a solution. And it's good to take some time to figure that solution out. Today I think that solution is just to set up amongst the roadworks. I'm gonna listen out to see if it gets loud. If it doesn't get too loud, I'll probably just set up here. It's still a space that might need entertaining. Nice steady flow of foot traffic here too. I think I'm just gonna go for it. The worst thing that can happen is you can get told you need to move. I always feel a bit gnarly when I'm doing something like this. If it's not just a normal busk, then it always feels a bit like, I don't know, a bit more wild than it usually would. And I guess step two is just to embrace that feeling. Accept that what you do is kind of out the ordinary already. You stand in the street and play music. You're already not normal. And that's a good thing. This is me, that's the side. It's a narrow spot. Can't be taking up too much room. Let's see what the folk of Northampton make of August Radio Project when their high street is taken over by roadwork. What do you reckon? Will it make the day better? Will I have to stop soon? Will it get super loud? So far so good. I've probably been stood in this spot for like a good 10-15 minutes and I can't hear any roadworks. I'm not sure I'll be moving spots today though. I was intending to do a few spots, but I don't reckon I will.
Remember when we went to Belgium first? Missing all the gear in my 5-seat up, man. We had to make it work. Oh no.
What tends to happen to me is if I encounter a hindrance to my busk, I panic for a bit, but I try and stay calm. Take a big deep breath. And I always think, what can I do to make sure this actually happens? And as soon as you get the first song going, you feel fine. The only problem now is, will this spot actually work?
Instead of working, we go to work this out somehow. Oh, well, I don't think they should ever see. They'll never hear what people do in these makeshift venues. It means so much to me.
Yep, that's literally this close to me. Is a pile of gravel now. I don't know that I've ever played to a pile of gravel before, but this will be a first. So far in Northampton, I've played 6 songs and I've had 0 donation. I've also bled on my finger. So maybe the roadworks are a hindrance after all. We'll see, but I haven't really got high hopes right now.
Working, we go to work this out somehow. Should ever see, never hear what people do in these makeshift venues that mean so much to me.
Just after I spoke to you last, literally the next moment, a lady came along, pointed at my case and said, "Can I put in?" I was like, "Yeah, I suppose you can." And then she proceeded to tip as many 10p's as I've ever seen in my life into the case. It's like she won on one of those coin machines. And then she opened the floodgates, because since then, I think I've played 2 songs since then, and there's your damage. Pretty good, eh?
I would rather be. Oh, well, I don't think they could understand all of you and all of this. You made it who I am.
I guess step 4 to the what to do if there's a hindrance in your busk. Once you've started playing and you've got that confidence, is to keep playing no matter what. Because the busk will turn around at any moment. If it's going badly, you never know when it will turn that corner. Sometimes it never does, but most of the time it does. So far, so good here in Northampton. It went like this.
How's it going? Am I alright here? Or are you gonna make loads of noise, or am I alright?
We'll be having a machine down here.
Alright.
At some point.
Alright, cool. Maybe when you get it, I'll think about moving. Thank you.
So in last week's video I was talking about councils and council permits and council guidelines and how they're not lawful and how there's no lawful leg to stand on when it comes for them enforcing guidelines on you and making you adhere to these permit systems. What I didn't mention is PSPOs, Public Space Protection Orders, and there is a PSPO put in place here in Northampton, which I think is worth talking about. Let me explain what PSPOs are for those who aren't sure.
It's ready to go now, slow down. there's a monster inside my head that says go back, turn around, yeah. Life's a game.
So most PSPOs are put in place to stop antisocial behaviour. Most high streets in anywhere you go in the UK will probably have one. They usually prohibit alcohol consumption, antisocial behaviour like fighting, physical violence, and public urination and defecation. Sometimes though, they add busking into them. I can think of a few off the top of my head. Birmingham New Street. In Birmingham on New Street, there's a PSPO there that gets you a £1,000 fine if you're busking on it. Luckily I made a video about how to busk in Birmingham, so you can check that out if you are going there and you don't want to get the £1,000 fine. Westminster Borough in London, that also has a PSPO that prohibits busking if you're not in one of the designated spots.
They can say all they want about it, so I mean I don't doubt it sometimes. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from?
So these are a way of putting a law to busking. This means that they can actually enforce some kind of law on you, whether that be a fine or equipment confiscation or just a restraining order that prohibits you from going to that place. And there is one here in Northampton, but luckily it doesn't say that we can't busk.
I write these songs for a reason. Not like to fake gold, well I like to think, and maybe that's my problem now. 2 steps from a crossroads, and how does you betray to go now? Slow down.
The PSPO in question that's in place here in Northampton doesn't prohibit busking, but it does allow the police and council officers to move any buskers on lawfully if they're causing a nuisance. And this came into effect in December 2023. What constitutes a nuisance? I'm not sure.
Outside, where do we go from here? Where do we go from? 2 steps from a crossroads. 2 steps from a crossroads, yeah.
Again though, just like with the guidelines, PSPOs, despite being lawful, you'll probably know if you're from the UK, they're not always enforced. You definitely see plenty of people drinking open cans of lager on the street. I think it's another case of just being respectful, being good. If you're seen drinking in the street and you're not causing a hassle, then you're probably not going to get told off. The same if you're busking in the street and you're not causing a nuisance, you're going to be fine. Tell you what is causing a little bit of a nuisance: these roadwork noises.
Kid, I'm just a teenage step-up, baby, yeah. Just a teenage step-up, baby. Listen to what you made to make you with me. No.
It's going better than the first 6 songs went, and that's good. And I've had plenty of smiles and nods and a few chats as well, so that's good. Good on yous, Northampton. You're doing all right so far.
Well, he brings a gun to school and he'd simply kick my. If he knew the truth, he lives on my brain and he tries an arrow. He doesn't know who I am.
For some reason, Northampton has insisted on being the noisiest place in the world today. I could put my amp behind me so I can actually hear myself a little bit, because I can't really hear me playing. I can't tell if my guitar's in tune at all. That's one hindrance with the roadwork situation. Doesn't seem to be affecting things too much. The donations aren't like flowing crazy, but they're coming. I can hear music playing. I don't know where that's coming from. Have I got a fellow busker joining me in town? Someone else braving the roadwork?
No, she doesn't know what she's missing. Oh yeah, set back. No, she doesn't know what she's missing.
It sounds like some kind of rap beat. I would guess that one of the shops or one of the buildings around here are playing that. But once the digger stops, we might be able to hear it. As I said, with these PSPOs, it's nothing any respectable and nice, friendly busker's got to worry about. They're usually put in place because one or two individuals is causing a problem. And it means that the council officers and the police have some grounds to get rid of them or move them on, as the case may be.
Give a damn about me. I got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Or maybe Friday, don't say maybe.
Oh my god, the roadworks stopped for a second. It got so loud there for a bit. It was definitely like debating whether it was worth it. And I think I've been straining my voice a bit because I can't hear myself. Symptoms of a construction busk, or whatever this would be called. A roadworks busk. One thing I have been thinking about is, obviously the people walking past can hear me slightly better because the speaker's facing them, but they still can't hear me as clear as when there's no roadworks or when they're not doing the digger or the machine or whatever it is. Yeah, I still get some donations, and it's almost like some donations come in because it's people just like who want to give you something just for being here. You know, it doesn't even matter how you sound. They're just like, fair play for being here. A fair play donation, we'll call it. There's been a few fair play donations.
No.
Do you hear that? The construction workers have gone on lunch. And it's making so much difference, if I'm honest. I don't know if I'd recommend busking next to construction, but here in Northampton there really wasn't any other choice because everywhere was construction. I can't believe it, really. When I got here this morning I was like, one of those days is it? Busking isn't giving me a straightforward day today. But to be fair, it's all part of the adventure, you know. It's all part of the excitement. So I'm grateful for it.
And there were fires in the marshes, there were dates up in the palms, as we told each other stories about people at the past. This is my kind of morning. Now as the rest of the world is yawning, we'll walk on by.
Well, we're down to the last few songs, and I can say this, it picked up a lot. Thank you. It picked up a lot this afternoon. I think it was a bit too early this morning, maybe. A bit too early for the Northampton full of roadworks. Perhaps the early morning crowd are a bit timid because of all the roadworks. It's picked up a lot, and it's going very well, to be fair. I even saw a guy walk past and go, ARP! So shout out to whoever that was. So cool. This has worked out as a little spot, even with my digger friend. If it wasn't for the Mackie Showbox, I don't think I'd be able to hold my own against these construction noises. Looks like it might rain too. It's alright, we've got about 20 minutes left.
There'll be a story, so let's try to make a lot. That's so many motives. Now as the rest of the world come calling, we're all home by. Well, like the serpents in the grasses, like the birds up in the tree, turn to each other, baby, just like you and me. And I found our calling. Now as the rest of the world come falling, we're all home by. Cause in the worst of times you often find opportunity.
Well, Northampton busk completed. Even with the roadworks, we did it. Mad. There's a couple of things that are slightly frustrating about this scenario I'm in right now. The car park I parked in, because I'm borrowing a car at the moment, has a time limit of 5 hours. When I parked in there this morning, I thought that I didn't realise that the roadworks would be a thing, and I thought I'd be changing spots and thought maybe I'll be able to swap car parks halfway through the bus, but that didn't happen. And then I also started a little later because of the whole roadwork situation. That wasn't ideal. It was still a good busk, and we'll go through some conclusions and what we learnt in the car park. See you in the car park. These car parks, man, they're way less scenic than the train stations. Well, Northampton was actually a good time, and it was one of those busts where the challenge presented meant I had to grow. And these are always the busks that make us the musicians we really are. It's days like today where I show up and the whole place is full of construction and there's seemingly nowhere to set up. These are the busks that really make me the busker I am. And they're the ones that, when the day goes smoothly, these are the times that mean, I can't get my words out. Oh, it was a good busk. I faced the challenge, and that's the point, right? The PSPO thing, if you're a good person and you're out there to put good energy out, you're a true street musician, you have nothing to worry about. Even if you were to set up somewhere where there is a PSPO in place that means busking isn't allowed, no reasonable officer is going to come over to you and tell you you need to pay a fine. They're just going to ask you if you're aware if you're in an area where you're not allowed to set up. And as long as you're polite and you're reasonable back to them, there's going to be no issues. But then days like today, no sign of any officers anywhere. But maybe that's because it was full of roadworks. One thing I would say about today is that I genuinely think that whenever you're presented with a challenge, there'll always be a way. There'll always be a solution. Don't make any rash decisions. Sit with the problem for a bit. Mull it over. And then decide what you're going to do. There almost always will be an opportunity to busk. And sometimes that opportunity to busk might not be as good as, say, go to somewhere else, go somewhere nearby. But there almost always will be an opportunity just to busk in the place you've got to. Even if it's full with other buskers, even if your equipment's broken, your amp's gone, your amp's not charged. You could do an a cappella set, you can speak to the other buskers, you can make sure that you get a slot. Right, I'll hand you to Future Me, because it's getting busy here, and I think my parking ticket must have run out by now. Right, over to Future Me. Cheers cheers Northampton. Not Southampton. £85.62. That was the total in Northampton, just in case you were curious. It was a good day. Roadworks in Northampton Town Centre are due to finish at the beginning of 2025. So I wouldn't really recommend going until then. Although, as you have just seen, you can make it work. And the construction workers don't mind at all. I don't know why I handed over to Future Me. I'm sure I've got something important to say. If you like the video, then hit like, subscribe if you're new, notifications on. You can leave me a super thanks as an online donation, or hit this QR code and there's a PayPal link on there. Woo! I'm thinking of putting together some kind of guitar tutorial course. I need to raise some funds. There's a big adventure I've got planned up ahead, and also I want to record an album. The A word. I used it. Dang, that's a scary word. And in order to do this, I need to make some funds. If I was to put together like a 10-song tutorial, would that be something you're interested in? I'm just riffing off the top of my head. It may or may not happen. But if you want it to happen, then let me know in the comments and I'll make sure it does. Alternatively, you can support me by signing up to my Patreon, where you get exclusive content in return. And I have some merch on my website, link below. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. It's honestly bonkers. Some of the nicest and friendliest comments. Oh, it's beautiful. Peace, love and happiness, and I'll see you next week, every Monday. Videos from me, August Radio Project. See you then.